Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Jacob Teacher YouTube channel. I hope that you're doing well wherever you are watching from. My name is Jacob, and as always, it is a pleasure to be with you. A few quick announcements before we begin here. Some of you may know that I am about to begin a trial version for this English club that I'm working on. Maybe some of you have already signed up. If you haven't, and if you'd like to know more, go to my Facebook page, and there's a lot more information about it. The deadline to apply for this course is actually, or for this club rather, is actually today. I'm going to close the registration in a few hours, so you really have a short amount of time to sign up for this club if you're interested. And what it is a 2-week club. It's a small group. We're going to get together, study English, and have a lot of fun together. It only costs $10 for the 2 weeks. It's just something that I'm going to test. And if you are dissatisfied, if you're not happy after 2 weeks, I'll give you a full refund of your money back. So yeah, more information about that is on my Facebook page or on my website. Okay, Abo is here. Satawat, I believe I'm pronouncing that right now, just came here to say hello. I have a big talk today and we'll watch the replay later. Okay, Satawat, good luck with your talk. Abo, hello to you. Today, we are going to talk about conspiracy theories. If you don't know what a conspiracy theory is, that's okay. We're going to learn. This is going to be kind of an advanced vocabulary lesson. So hopefully you learn a lot of new words today. These are advanced words too. If you use them in English conversation, you might sound smart too. We'll see how it goes. Let's begin. And as always, I have questions for you, so lots of participation would be good. And yeah, let's get going. I don't think I have anything else to say. I'll keep my eye on the chat room for your questions. And yeah, ask any questions you want. I'm always happy to answer them. So, conspiracy theories. What we're going to do is talk briefly about conspiracy theories, or some examples of conspiracy theories, rather. And then we're going to look at 3 new vocabulary words for you to learn. But what is a conspiracy theory? A conspiracy theory, we may as well start by breaking down the words, right? We have 2 words, conspiracy and theory. And why is this not working? Okay, here we go. Conspiracy. A conspiracy is a noun, and it's a secret plan by a group of people to do something bad. So I made a mistake there in the definition. A secret plan by a group of people to do something bad. So a group of people are together and they're planning secretly to do something really bad. A conspiracy to kill the president means a secret plan that people have to kill the president. That's what a conspiracy means. A secret plan with a small group of people or a big group of people. The size doesn't matter, but a secret plan that a group composes. Theory, then, is an idea that is used to explain something that happens. So, for example, I have Darwin's theory of evolution here, a theory of evolution. And what that is an idea. So Darwin had an idea about how humans came to be humans, how we are what we are. And he wanted to explain how that happened, and he figured out his theory of evolution. So that is what a theory is. So then a conspiracy theory, if you put the words together, it's a theory that involves a conspiracy. So something happens, and the theory about that thing is that there was a secret group that was planning to do it. It will become more clear in the examples that we're going to look at. We're going to look at 3 famous conspiracy theories. The first one, the moon landing. So in 1969, the United States landed a man on the moon for the first time in human history. And many people, probably still some today, many people today probably, believe that it is a conspiracy. It was a conspiracy. That man never actually landed on the moon. That the government lied to us and faked it. They staged this moon landing. So that's a theory about this conspiracy. It's a conspiracy theory. So their theory is that the government planned this, that they were lying to us. It's a conspiracy theory. Now, when we have conspiracy theories, we always have to ask ourselves why. Why would the government lie about putting someone on the moon? Why would they do that? What do they stand to gain from doing that? So I took this quote from Wikipedia, and we're going to look at it. It looks really long and complicated, but it's not. I'm going to help you understand it. And this is a quote that is about why some people believe that the government lied about the moon landing. Why people have this conspiracy theory. Why do they think it was a conspiracy? The American Patriot Friends Network, so that is just the name of the group that thinks this. The American Patriot Friends Network claimed in 2009, so recently, this group in 2009, they claimed this, that the landings, the moon landings, helped the United States government distract public attention from the unpopular Vietnam War. Let's look at the second half of that sentence again. Helped the United States government distract public attention from the unpopular Vietnam War. So, around the time of the moon landing, the Vietnam War was happening, around 1969. And the Vietnam War was very unpopular in America. Many people did not support the United States getting involved in that war. They didn't like it, and the government was facing a lot of criticism because of this war. So this one group, the American Patriot Friends Network, they are the ones that believe in this conspiracy. What they are saying is that the reason the government faked the moon landing, the reason they acted it out was to distract the public. Distract is a really, really good verb to know. Distract is when you prevent someone from giving their full attention to something. So let's look at an example. If you have a child and the child sees a bunch of chocolate, let's imagine, and the child gets really, really, really excited, but you have to do something else with the child, but the child really wants the chocolate. It may be a good idea to distract the child somehow. I don't know how you would do that, maybe sing a funny song or something, but something to distract the child, to take the child's attention away from the chocolate and direct the attention somewhere else. That's what the verb distract means. So again, think about it like this. The public, in this example, the American public, is focusing on the Vietnam War, and that's really bad for the government. So this group that claims that the moon landing was a conspiracy, what they're saying is because the Vietnam War was so unpopular, because everyone was so mad about it, the government wanted to distract the public. So they staged the moon landing. I've got a question for you. Can you think of an example when it is necessary to distract someone? Can you think of an example when it is necessary to distract someone? And try and use the word distract in your answer. Again, distract just means direct someone's attention away from something else. So here's one example that I can think of. Sometimes when a couple breaks up, well, often it's a very sad thing that happens, and both people are very upset. So let's imagine that your friend just breaks up with his girlfriend, and he's very depressed, he's very sad, he can't stop thinking about her and the breakup and all sorts of terrible things. It might be a good idea as his friend to come and help distract him. Whatever you need to do, maybe take him out to a sporting event or take him out to wherever, the mall or something that you like to do together to distract him from thinking about his girlfriend. So you want to take his attention off of his girlfriend and direct it towards something else. Can you think of an example in the comment section now? Or if you're watching the replay, leave a comment for me too. Think of an example of a time when it's necessary to distract someone. Looks like Gofrain is back. Sam is back. Hello to both of you. Thank you so much for joining. Try and give me an example of a time when it's necessary to distract someone. Just going to take a sip of water here. Alan is with us too. Hello, Alan. And once again, Alan makes me laugh with his comment. So Alan, when he sees beautiful girls, he gets distracted and he loses concentration. Alan, here's how you could rephrase that more naturally. Again, simplify, 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 my friend, but thank you for the comment. When I see beautiful girls, I get distracted and lose concentration on whatever I'm doing, right? I can't concentrate on what I'm doing. When I see beautiful girls, I get distracted and I can't concentrate on what I was doing or what I am doing. It's necessary to distract someone when he's depressed, says Sam. I don't know if you're disagreeing with me or agreeing with me or kind of surprised that I said that. And yeah, people can argue. So I think some people would say that distracting someone who's in that situation, depressed about a breakup, is not a good idea. So I think some people would argue that it's important to kind of feel those negative emotions and feel them fully so that you can move on later. I understand that, but it's hard to see your friends really suffer, and a lot of the time, I mean, maybe distract is the wrong word to use here. I guess maybe support would be a better one, but hanging out with them sometimes, supporting them in that way, just being around them, I think it's necessary. So call it whatever you want. But let's keep moving. Thank you for the sentences. And again, if you think of something as I'm talking, leave me a sentence and I will check it later. Let's keep going. Another famous conspiracy theory. This one is actually it's quite funny to me, I think. The Barack Obama citizenship conspiracy. Okay, so what in the world is this? Maybe some of you don't know. The Barack Obama citizenship conspiracy. Well, when Barack Obama was running for re-election in 2008, this conspiracy theory started that he was not actually born in the United States. People started spreading rumors that he was born in Kenya, and it became this really, really, really big conspiracy. People were demanding that he show his birth certificate and all of these different things. And until very recently, it was a huge deal. It was a real serious conspiracy. Many people believed that he wasn't actually born in the United States. Ironically, one of the biggest believers in this conspiracy, not only did this person believe in it, but he helped spread it quite widely because of how well known he is, was none other than Donald Trump. Donald Trump very consistently questioned whether Barack Obama was born in the United States. Questioned is the wrong word. He flat out said that he was not born in the United States. In 2013, here's something that Donald Trump tweeted in 2013. An extremely credible source has called my office and told me that at Barack Obama's birth certificate is a fraud. So we have a few words here in this quote that I want to explain. Credible, if something is credible, it means that it is believable. that you can believe it, that you can trust it. An extremely credible source. Source just means a source of information. So in this example, a source, what he means is the person who gave him that information. An extremely credible source. The person who gave him that information was a very believable, trustworthy person. That's what he's saying in that first part. An extremely credible source has called my office and told me that Barack Obama's birth certificate is a fraud. Fraud just means fake, okay? So not authentic, not real. So he's saying, someone called me, someone who I trust very much, and they told me that Barack Obama's birth certificate is not real. And this was tweeted out in 2013 by Donald Trump. So it's quite ironic now that he is the president after Barack Obama. Another one, a very, very big conspiracy theory surrounding September 11th, 2001. So, of course, this was a tragic day in American history, but also just in world history. Planes were hijacked and flown into the two World Trade Centers and other places in the United States. There is a large conspiracy theory about this event. Many people, they believe that the government was involved in some way. Maybe not directly involved, but some people say they knew that the attacks were going to happen and that they did nothing to prevent them. So this is another big conspiracy theory, and it's quite popular. Of all the conspiracy theories I've encountered, this one seems to be the most popular. There are books that have been written about this, countless hours of videos on YouTube that try and argue that this is a real conspiracy. So it's quite popular. And actually, I found an article on Huffington Post, which is a very large media platform in the United States, and I guess worldwide too. The article says, this was written in 2016. A majority of Americans believe that the government is concealing information about the 9/11 attacks. One new survey suggests. People often refer to this date in history as 9/11, September being the 9th month and 11 being the 11th day, of course. So this article, a majority of Americans believe that the government is concealing information about the 9/11 attacks, one new survey suggests. To conceal, another great verb that you should know. Conceal means to hide something. So for example, I have this watch here right now. If I were to hide it in my sleeve, my sleeves are tight, so I'm not going to do it. But if I were to hide it in my sleeves, I'd say I'm concealing my watch. It just means to hide something from other people. So what is this headline saying? It's that the Americans believe that the government is hiding information about these attacks. To be fair, I don't know where this survey comes from. I don't know how accurate it is or how trustworthy it is, but personally, I've met a lot of people who question the September 11th attacks. They think there might be something strange going on. So it's a very, very popular conspiracy theory. Let me just check back on the comment section. Satawat says, nowadays, people get distracted easily from their phones. However, please do not get distracted when you're driving. Okay, so Satawat, almost perfect sentence there. Nowadays, people get distracted easily by their phones. Okay, so their phones distract them. They are distracted by their phones. However, please do not get distracted when you're driving. Please do not get distracted when you're driving. But right now I'm driving, so that's all right. Don't get distracted, Satawat. Satawat. I have to start pronouncing that correctly now that I know how to pronounce your name. By the way, everyone, Satawat is in the private Facebook group that I'm running right now, so that's how I learned how to pronounce his name. And you can join that too. That is the English Language Club, the test version that I'm going to run for the next 2 weeks. So more information about that on my Facebook page. GoFriend says, some TV channels distract people from the important issues in community. Here's how I would rephrase that. GoFriend says, you could say, some TV channels distract people from important issues in their community. That would be a more natural way to phrase it. Thank you for the sentence, though. That's really great. And I agree, yes, TV distracts us quite a bit. Although I don't even watch TV anymore. I mainly just watch YouTube. So YouTube, for me, is the new TV. Let's keep going. We're going to switch to vocabulary now. Actually, while I have you here, can you think of any more popular conspiracy theories that you know of? Any other popular conspiracy theories? The picture that I put for that I used for the thumbnail of this lesson, that's a picture of President John F. Kennedy, former President John F. Kennedy. He was tragically assassinated, and that is another huge conspiracy theory. Many people believe that they don't know exactly what happened, but they believe that the story the government is telling is not the full story. So that's a big conspiracy theory. I've also recently heard of a flat Earth conspiracy theory. This is a group of people that believe that the Earth, instead of being round, is actually flat, and they claim to have sufficient evidence to believe that, which is, I don't know, that's an interesting one. But yeah, there are many popular conspiracy theories. It's quite amazing if you spend time looking on the internet what you can find. So let's keep going. I want to go to the vocabulary section now. I called it advanced vocabulary because I hope that these are words that you're going to learn for the first time, or if you already know them, that it will provide you a good opportunity to practice them. The first word, deceive. We have a verb here, a nice verb, deceive. I really like this verb. I like the sound of it. And what this is, when you deceive someone, you cause them to believe something that isn't true. Usually so that you can benefit in some way. It doesn't always have to be so that you can benefit, but when you cause someone to believe something that isn't true, most of the time so you can benefit. Let's look at some examples. He was very talented at deceiving people. So imagine a man who has a talent at making people believe stuff that isn't true. I'm sure we have all met people like that in our lives, or at least have seen people like that in the news. Becky deceived me too many times, so I don't trust her anymore. So this lady, Becky, deceived me. That means Becky tricked me into believing something that wasn't true. She lied to me, basically. She deceived me too many times, so I don't trust her anymore. That's how this verb works. Now, we often deceive ourselves, okay? And a nice term here to know is self-deception. Deception is the noun form of deceive. We often deceive ourselves, so we fool ourselves sometimes. We lie to ourselves. Can you think of some common examples, some common times when we deceive ourselves? Tell me in the comment section. I'll give you one example. So often, when we are trying to cut something out of our lives, there's a nice phrasal verb, when you're trying to cut something out of your life, so cut out, that means that you're trying to stop doing something or reduce doing something. So people try to cut out alcohol from their lives sometimes. People try to cut out certain foods like ice cream and chocolate. People try to cut out all sorts of things, bad relationships, anything. You can cut out anything from your life, and it means to remove that thing from your life. So when we are trying to cut something out of our life, we often feel temptation to do that thing again. We feel desire, and we kind of deceive ourselves into thinking that it's okay. So for example, if I'm trying to quit smoking, but I really, really want a cigarette, and I'm having a hard time. Um, I'm having a hard time quitting. Sometimes you'll start playing tricks with yourself, right? You'll say, "Well, if I just have one, then I'll be able to. Then I'll be okay. It'll be fine if I just have one." That is an example of a time when we deceive ourselves. It doesn't have to be only with smoking. I'm sure you are all familiar with it. We humans are quite good at deceiving ourselves. So tell me, when are some other times that people deceive themselves? Okay, it looks like the comment section is a little quiet today. Oh, Alan says, saying lie, decisive way to get granted, but final result is deceiving others. Alan, I'm not sure what you mean by granted there. Saying a lie is a decisive way to get granted, but final result is deceiving ourselves. Try again. Tell me in different words what you mean, and try and make it very simple and easy. I'm a little confused by what you mean. Cooper says, you won't give up smoking, you are just deceiving yourself. Okay, great. You won't give up smoking, you are just deceiving yourself. That's a great sentence. Perfect sentence, actually. You won't give up smoking, you are just deceiving yourself. So what this sentence means is you won't actually give up smoking, you are just fooling yourself into believing that you are able to give up smoking or that you will give up smoking. Great practice sentence there. That's really awesome. Thank you for that. Okay, let's keep going. And again, leave more sentences if you can. The next word that I want to look at is motive. Motive. It's a noun. Once again, motive. And what it is the reason for doing something, especially one that is hidden or not obvious, the reason for doing something. Okay, so let's look at a few examples. There didn't seem to be a motive for the crime. You'll often hear this word used in the context of law. So we use this word a lot in legal situations. There didn't seem to be a motive for the crime. What that sentence means is there did not seem to be a reason why whoever committed the crime. There isn't an obvious reason why it happened. Next sentence. It was clear that he had an ulterior motive when he offered to help Dave. I have ulterior motive highlighted here. I did that on purpose because this is a very common phrase. It's really good to know this one. Ulterior is an adjective that just means intentionally hidden, so not obvious. It was clear that he had an ulterior motive when he offered to help Dave. So when this man offered to help Dave, it was very clear that he had some other reason he was doing it. He wasn't just offering to help to be a nice guy. He had some other ulterior motive, a reason why he was offering to help that wasn't obvious to everyone else. So, who is someone that you've contacted recently, and what was your motive for doing so? Once again, who is someone you've contacted recently, and what was your motive for doing so? When I'm asking you about, when you tell me about this person, try and pick a person who, prior to the last time you contacted them, you hadn't spoken to for quite a while. So someone that you hadn't spoken to for a long time, that you called recently, that you got back in touch with. I recently called my grandmother, who I usually contact every few months. I should contact her more. I should be a better grandson. But I recently contacted her, and my motive for doing so was to make her feel good on her birthday. It was her birthday recently, and I wanted to wish her a happy birthday, let her know that I love her and that I was thinking about her. and am right now too. So tell me about someone you've contacted recently. Girlfriend says, a motive equals a motivation. Yes, they're very, very similar, and they both have to do with the reason for acting. Motive we use, I would say, more so to describe, well, we use it more for sure in the context of law specifically. We use it there. And I would say more often than not, it's used to describe a negative reason or something, a reason that's kind of hidden. So we do use it to talk about positive reasons for doing something, like I just did in my example. But more often than not, you're going to hear it used in kind of to describe something negative that happened. The reason was a negative reason. Okay, but you can think of them the exact same way. They're very, very similar. If you think about them in the same way, they both have to do with the reason for doing something. Okay? Alan says, to get advantage of someone or something in order to say lie about deceiving people, but in fact we deceive. Oh, okay, so that's an interesting idea, Alan. So we deceive other people, you're saying, to get advantage of someone. So we lie to other people, but really we're lying to ourselves. Okay, that's an interesting idea. Alan says, I'm contacting with new girl who her English is perfect, and her motive is me to improve my English like her. Okay, so her motive for your relationship, her motive is to help you improve your English. Okay, interesting. Maybe she likes you too. I don't know. We'll see. You're always talking about sexy women, so maybe I don't know what your motive is. I'll put it that way. If it's just English. I'm just being rude. But thank you for the sentences. Let's keep going. The last word that I want to look at with you today, apprehensive. Apprehensive. I really like this word too. It's an adjective, and it means it's when you feel anxiety or fear that something bad is going to happen. Anxiety or fear that something bad is going to happen. So let's look at some examples. I felt apprehensive as soon as I saw him. I felt apprehensive as soon as I saw him. So you saw this person, this guy, and right away, immediately, you started feeling like something bad was going to happen. You felt really nervous and anxious that something bad was going to happen. The next sentence. When I said we should have dinner together sometime, she seemed apprehensive. When I said we should have dinner together sometime, she seemed apprehensive. I can already see Alan commenting in the side. I can't see exactly what you said, but I will read it in a minute. When I said we should have dinner together sometime, she seemed apprehensive. What that means, again, so you can imagine this guy who's asking a girl out on a date. That's one thing that people usually say when they're asking other people out on a date. They say, we should have dinner together sometime, or whatever. Some line like that. When I said we should have dinner together, he's asking her out to go for dinner. She seemed like she didn't want to. She seemed like she felt something bad was going to happen were she to go for dinner. Okay? So, again, anxiety or fear that something bad is going to happen. It's a really great advanced vocabulary word. Okay, last question for tonight. Do you feel apprehensive about the future? Do you feel apprehensive about the future? When you think about the future, do you feel nervous and scared that it's going to be bad? Or if you don't want to answer that question, why don't you tell me about a time in your life when you felt apprehensive? I personally do feel quite apprehensive about the future. There are quite a few things that could go wrong on this planet, go very wrong, and lead to, well, very bad things for people. So I am quite apprehensive about the future. I don't know if every generation is like that. I feel like our generation is facing unique difficulties, very unique difficulties, when compared to other generations in history, but who knows? We will see what happens. I personally, though, do feel apprehensive about the future. Okay? We have some more sentences. From Kubra says, I talked to one of my teachers. I talked to one of my teachers. And Kubra, actually, I did a lesson on that too. It was called One of the Greatest, where I talked about exactly that phrase, one of the. It might help you to go back and watch that live lesson. The title, again, is One of the Greatest. You'll find it on my YouTube channel. So Kubra, I talked to one of my teachers. My motive for doing so is taking an advice about Spanish learning materials. So I talked to one of my teachers. My motive for doing so was to hear her advice about Spanish learning materials, or to get advice about Spanish learning materials. That would be the most natural way to phrase it. I talked to one of my teachers. My motive for doing so was to get advice about Spanish learning materials. Sam says, my professor motivated me to be a best student so that I'll achieve. So, motivated me to be the best student. If you're talking about best, there's only one, right? The best. You need a different determiner there. Alan says, unfortunately, she's so sexy, but she is far from you. But I think she loves me because she's always working on my English. Well, I don't know her at all, Alan, but that seems like a sign to me too. I don't know, maybe. If someone's really putting an effort into you, it could be a sign sometimes that they're perhaps romantically interested, or at least want something more from the relationship. So who knows, my friend? Who knows what will happen? Cooper says, I feel apprehensive about the future because people are losing their culture and just one type person is developing. Ooh, very interesting way to phrase it. One type of person is developing. Yeah, I think, well, the internet helps with that at all. We're all kind of like coming together in that way, and cultures merge together, and I think it's good and bad. I can understand what you're saying. Sam says, I have apprehensive. Okay, so apprehensive is an adjective, so you wouldn't use it as a noun there, which is what you're trying to do. I feel apprehensive, you could say, whenever I take supper with strangers in weddings. Okay, so you feel apprehensive eating dinner with strangers at weddings. That's a natural way to phrase it. I feel apprehensive whenever I have supper with strangers at weddings. Take supper, we don't really say. We usually say have supper, have dinner. Okay? Alan says, my apprehensive about future is about I'm getting old without seeing my dreamy girlfriend. So Alan, you could say, I'm apprehensive. I feel apprehensive because I fear that I won't meet my dream girlfriend and I'm getting older. You could phrase it like that. It's kind of complicated, I know. But very good sentences from all of you tonight. Tonight for me. Unfortunately, that is all the time that I have. I have to get going. I have other things that I have to do. I wish you all the best weekend. I hope you have a fantastic time, whatever you end up doing. And yeah, again, if you want to join my class, my club for the next 2 weeks, it's only $10, full refund if you're not satisfied. Do that by either going to my website or going to my Facebook page to learn more about it. All the information you need is in either of those places. So do that, please. It would be great to see all of you in the private Facebook group. And yeah, I will see you in the next live video next week. I will be releasing another video on my YouTube channel, hopefully this weekend. So it won't be a live lesson. It will be a pre-recorded one. It's been a while since I've done one of those. And yeah, that's all I have to say. GoFrown says, your classes distract us. Okay, so GoFran is upset with me because I'm talking about being apprehensive about the future, and yeah, well, in my classes, I what I do in these classes is I talk about what I'm thinking. So a lot of the time it's negative, a lot of the time it's positive. It depends, right? That's just life. So that's how I run these classes. I usually decide what I want to teach, what I want to talk about, like the day before I actually uh, teach it, or on the same day that I make the class. So it's whatever I'm feeling on that day, GoFriend. Unfortunately, you are hostage to my feelings for these classes. Anyways, thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you later. Bye bye.